We'll start with Tinsley, a guy who came in 1 year, was done at Penn State, transferred in Western Kentucky, bounced around a little bit through his college career, but ultimately moved up, right? He's always progressively gotten better. And I think that was the case in this NFL draft, just this timeline for his NFL draft preparation. He has now stepped up and said, hey, this isn't a fringe guy. This could be someone that is selected as early as the 5th and as late as the 7th. What's your take on it, Josh?
If Mitchell Tinsley had a fan base, I'd be the president. I love Mitchell Tinsley, not only as a player, but a person. He was always my favorite to talk to. Just a super smart guy. Like he can break down every single play. He's like, oh yeah, on this play, like this is my release. I should have done that. I should have single move to the inside. You know, we should have rounded out my route better. Like he's so smart. But another guy who's just not getting talked about enough. And you look back at the Western Kentucky year, I mean, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns on the best statistical offense ever. They broke all the LSU records of Joe Burrow in that squad with him and Zappy. And it's just, I remember when he transferred to Penn State, I went back and watched those games. I was like, man, this guy, first off, super reliable hands. But the thing that stood out to me was for a guy that doesn't have this track speed, he somehow is always wide open, deep behind defense.
Route running. Yep. Route running.
He's a crisp route runner. It's refined. But then also in like these screen games, there's a couple of games like the UTSA game. I think it was the championship game. They had a screen to the left side and he had like 3 dudes in front of him. And somehow he ends up behind them. He's able to just cut across the middle of the field and cut back up in the sideline. He's super smart. Once he gets the ball in his hands, I'm like, there's a lot to this guy's game, and I've mocked him to us probably every time in the 6th round that I've done a mock draft for us because a 62.5% contested catch rate off the charts, 73 versus man, according to PFF. Like his numbers are outstanding when you actually look him up and take a look at him. But when you go from that Western Kentucky offense just to air raid, I mean, they're throwing it every single play.
Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously Penn State's room with, you know, Parker Washington, as we mentioned, Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson, Warren, and then that running back crew. Like it's a lot. There's one ball and there's a lot of people that, you know, deserve to have it. But still, 577 yards, 5 touchdowns last year, 11.3 yards per catch. So like the numbers were there. Yeah, of course, it's not as flashy as the Western Kentucky year, but still, whenever Penn State needed a big play, that Purdue game, he would step up and he just would find the end zone whenever it was needed. So I think Mitchell Tinsley is one of the biggest sleepers at wide receiver. Like I said, not a really good wide receiver draft, but I think someone's going to get him in like the 6th round and put him in camp. Like, holy smokes, this guy can ball. Like he can catch some balls. And I think quarterbacks are really going to love Mitchell Tinsley. Like I said, he doesn't have that like track long speed, but when you can get separation at the line, at your breaking point, at your stem, it doesn't matter if you're running 4-3, 4-4, because if you're getting jammed at the line, you don't have any room to run that 4-3, 4-4, whatever you're running. So I'll take a guy that can get separation at all 4 parts of his route any day over a guy like Dre Archer or someone who's just really fast but can't run a route. So I think Mitchell Tinsley is going to be a big steal in this draft. Like I love Tinsley's game.